Hey, how's it going? My name is James P. White, and this is the Bald and Short of It podcast. I guess this week we should almost call it the Bald and the Bald Short of It podcast because I have,
Yeah.
I still have a lot more hair than you do, but I have a lot less hair than I normally do.
I
Because
was gonna talk
this,
about that in the prep and come after you on the show. So this is the first mention of it. You stole my
yeah,
thunder there, buddy.
I've been planning this all day, dude. Because like it was right down to the skin. You couldn't feel anything 2 days ago. Like I'll have hair by next podcast for sure. Um, so yeah, as I said, I'm James P. White. That's Chris Mooney. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, and we've got Chris and I, we were talking off air a bit and about the fact that this is the one week that we haven't talked to each other since last podcast. So this might be a lot of, getting to know you kind of stuff. This like finding out exactly what's been going on in our world this week because we've not talked at all. And let's start out with let's tell me about your week there, big guy.
Well, it was pretty quiet during the week. Business stuff, which was great. Really positive stuff on that front. We spent time with our friend Ian on the boat a couple weeks back, and I got to work a little bit with Ian, who helped me out this weekend with some real estate stuff and showings. And so, thanks, Ian. Shout out to our buddy Ian Elliott, friend of the podcast. Um, on Friday, our good buddy Johnny and I went to Q with Marco. You know both of them. Um, yeah, you work Friday, right? Like, I just want to make sure because I didn't call you, but you didn't work Friday.
I don't work Fridays. I work Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday,
Say,
early-ish. Like I have to be at work by noon.
I thought it was Friday. Like, I would have called you. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm not even like I'm like my buddy Benny, in Vegas, he works at the bar, and it's like Friday, Saturday is, you know, that's where you make bank, right?
But yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah,
Um,
anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry you didn't come, damn it. I even like drove out there. But we had a nice evening at Q. Um watched the Jays game. That's a smoking lounge for those of you that don't know. Right by the River
oh, is
Cree.
that? Oh, that's the one. Oh, yeah, because I've been there once before with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You
So
were
they have
there.
that
Sure.
huge. They have that huge patio that's heated,
Yeah,
and oh yeah,
yeah. Anyway, that was Johnny's first time there, and we crushed a couple stogies, and I got more video of Johnny smoking, which he doesn't do, but as a rule. So whenever he does, I um anyway,
and
that was
he
fun.
must
And
like it that you do that too,
oh, he doesn't mind. He's anything for a laugh guy like you. Um,
as long as you
and
don't post it.
yeah, and then excuse me, because I was driving, we didn't stay too late, so we went to Sherbrooke. Whereupon I stopped driving and got to spend time with Janet and everybody over there for karaoke night. And uh,
Yeah, we
met
haven't
my
been there in a couple weeks,
yeah, I know
or at
we
least
we
I
ought to
haven't.
go. Yeah, we ought to go. My buddy Jody, who's getting married to Carmen here, coming up in a couple of short weeks, about a month. He was there, so we got to catch up a bit with Jody, and it was a fun evening. And I forgot to, like, I don't know, like, whenever I sing karaoke, um we should advertise for our followers when I do, because talent and all that. But
Dude, dude,
but
when you're there singing for karaoke, everybody goes out for a smoke.
probably. But anyways, I always try to do, I don't want to do the same thing all the time because it's boring. So I fell back to some Bruce Springsteen that I hadn't done in a long time, and that was a lot of fun. So as anyway, that was Friday. Saturday was another wonderful night at the Deke House. We had we had our alumni night there, and I met a lot of good young men that are considering joining. And just as, if not more importantly, I met uh, some brothers. Like, I mean, we I don't want to beat the dead horse or anything. A few of the guys gave a shout out to the podcast, which is nice. I'm talking to you, Bradley, who really sincerely appreciates the fact that I am indeed the talent. He was joking. He said that's hilarious. And the reason why he thinks it's hilarious is because clearly he knows I'm not. But
Yeah, but we've actually had that conversation. Even though, you're kind of newish to the podcast thing, but we bring our we're talent in our own ways. Like I have a radio background. You have a business background. You're good at talking. I'm just good
got everything.
at being me. Like I've always been like in everything that I've done when it comes to radio or entertainment, I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not. I like, am I good at radio? Yeah. Am I great at it? Fuck no. But,
I don't
but
know.
the
I
thing
think you're
is,
selling yourself
but
short there, pal.
dude, I'm a midget. We can do that. Um, but the thing is though, is the thing we all bring our own, and in everything that we do, we can always do better. We can always learn something different, both in the podcasting world, radio world, real estate world, whichever
Sure.
way, food services, you can always do better. No one is an expert, like, I can't say expert perfect at everything that they do. If if you say you are perfect at everything you do, you're delusional. That's just my personal opinion. Like us as a podcast, I've had conversations with other people. We build off each other. You make fun of me, I make fun of you. We have a camaraderie. We all add our own thing, and this podcast wouldn't be the same without you, and it wouldn't be the same without me.
Sure.
It's we're a team. Whether
Yep.
like
For
so
better, for better, and
we
for
we
worse.
we are the talent together. We are married in this podcast. I'm the man, you're the woman.
Yeah.
You know,
With that
okay,
haircut, eh?
but hey, dude, this like I do this every. The last time I had a haircut like this was back in it was June 22nd. So I always do an after picture. It was June 22nd, and with the amount of hair I had, that was 3 months, right?
Yeah, well,
And now like,
you don't need your arsenal with all those knives and hatchets and whatnot that we'll probably talk about later. Like with that butch haircut, you're telling the world that you're ready to throw down some ass.
hey, that like, always be afraid of the bald midget.
So,
Okay,
anyways, about the Saturday, like yeah, again with the dead horse, but it's just so great. Some of those guys I hadn't seen in like 6 months, even a year for some guys. Like not everyone pops by all the time. Fella I hadn't seen in years, Marcus Passanen came by, and what's great is it's like we say like you have those friends that it's like, oh, we ran into each other and it was like no time had passed. It's always like that, because I guess because we have so much in common. But it was another great night like that, and it was a big part of that alumni night that we do is to expose the younger guys to the fact that it doesn't end in college, that you keep going and those friendships endure or whatever. But um I'll leave it at that for that. But I will tell you this, that actually kind of forgot, probably because it was traumatic. But the Uber, or I think I took a Lyft that night. So Barak and I, as usual, kind of tag teamed the ride. He paid. I thought I was being smart. He paid for the ride there, and and I said, "Oh, I'll get the ride home." And typically, I don't know the exact amount. It's not telling me, but typically, um, from the Deke house to my house or Bayrack's house, it's like, I don't know, like $12 tops. Like I've had it where it's like under 10. This one was at least $75
Can I
from
ask
the,
you a question?
yeah,
What day was that?
it was Saturday, Morgan
The
Wallen.
Morgan Wallen, the Morgan
Yeah,
Wallen.
yeah. We were a victim of the surge, and I don't
That's a
really,
huge, that's a huge surge.
yeah,
Like
no kidding. It was
that's,
ridiculous.
that's like 400%.
Yeah, you're telling me. So what what I wasn't taking an Uber for nothing. So like I wasn't, my judgment wasn't the best. And you just think, well, these are my options. I'm screwed. It is what it is. But then I remember, like, like the cabs don't do surge as far as I know. Like I don't take cabs all the time. But
Uh,
if I was,
they don't, they don't. It's just their starting rate is a little higher.
yeah. Anyway, I didn't think about it till the next day, but I was like, damn, I should have got a cab. But whatever. It was a great night. I didn't let that besought my evening. Yeah, so that was what that was. And then Sunday, yesterday was kind of a little bit of recovery, but also football. And my fantasy team is garbage, so we'll just kind of leave it at that.
Okay. One thing I recommend for you, like when it comes to the Uber, um, get the app for Yellow Cab. Put it on your
Yeah,
phone
I got
because
I got the co-op one. I might have the yellow one too.
no, but yellow is good. Yellow because they own three different cab companies. So they own Yellow, Barrel for the West End, and then Prestige is like I think North Side because Yellow is usually South.
Right.
But I always do the both. I check Uber first and go, okay, it's going to be 20 minutes and it's going to be $50. And the other is going to be 5 minutes and $12, like on the cab. It kind of depends because they do on the apps, especially for that, they do the flat rates too.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think
now,
I'm glad that we have Uber now, because like we wouldn't be having this conversation, say, I don't know, 10 years ago. So that's good because there's more competition, but it always evolves. And I always thought that the cab companies are really almost surfish and like really onerous for the drivers, because plates were so expensive. Like to have a plate isn't the same as being the driver. And a lot of those drivers treated, or a lot of the guys that own the plate treated the drivers like shit. So it's nice to know a guy could get a car and strike out on his
yeah,
own. But
but,
but at
but
the end of the day,
there was a lot of different things that happened back in the day with taxis that don't happen now.
yeah,
Like, for example, drivers talking on the phone a lot of the time in taxis, they don't do that as much. I've seen the odd Uber driver do it still,
yeah,
but, and another thing is they don't turn down fares. Cause I remember back in the day before Uber, if you were getting an Uber from downtown to St. Albert or a taxi from downtown to St. Albert, and they showed up because you didn't tell them where you were going, and they showed up and you go, I'm going to St. Albert. Well, I'm not going to, yeah, I can't take you to St. Albert, and they'll
right,
leave you there. But they don't do that now, but because Uber will never do it. But part of the reason the taxi companies did it back in the day was because if they drive me to St. Albert, they can't grab a, a rider from St. Albert to bring them back.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like it's changed a lot in the last 10 years since
Yeah,
Uber.
I think like it's like anything, the more competition, the better, and usually the winner is the consumer. So, uh,
But keep both as the option though.
yeah, and that was a massive blind spot by me. Like I fucked up on Saturday with that, but whatever. It was a fun time, so whatever. I'm not gonna complain.
Okay, so that was your week.
That
So
was
your
my
week
week.
was so your week was a whole lot more interesting than my week because other than work, I didn't really leave my house. I've been dealing with red tape with a bunch of different companies on like we talked about it last time, a bit dealing with banks and
Oh yeah, yeah.
EI and still dealing with all this crap with that. But I had a couple of like I have written in the prep random thoughts. It's more like epiphanies, like things I realized in my life that maybe I need to think about.
By the way,
One
before
of
you start that, because there's a thought that escaped me earlier, and I hate to interrupt, but um, you're talking about like the pursuit of perfection is like just to encapsulate what you said, like the pursuit of perfection is in fact its own reward. And the understanding that
yeah,
perfection is unobtainable gets us excited that we have more to achieve every day and that nothing's perfect and we can always strive to be better. So that's awesome. And and just sort of as a lead up into what you're going to say is when you're talking about us and what we're doing here in this forum or whatever is that the big driver for me, at least when I deal with you, is like authenticity. You're gonna what you get is what you get. It's up to you whether you like it or not, but at least you're gonna get authenticity. Nobody's blowing smoke. Nobody's full of shit. And those honest takes are, I think, well, at least what draws me to these chats every week. So how about her, my friend?
but the first epiphany I had, like, yeah, there was a lot of because I have these two epiphanies as well as a lot of drunk thinking. Like, there was a couple of like, we'll get so we this episode we will have a couple of at least one drunk thoughts of Jimmy coming up, but I realized this week that something that I've known forever, but I woke up in the middle of the night. I think it was Thursday. And I was like, and I just went, what if? No, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was coughing. Maybe inhaled some spit or something. And I'm like, what if I just choked right now and died? Like, no, just, it's a little morbid at this point, but there's a thought to it. I live by myself. No one's here to, make sure that, I live. But if something did happen and I did pass away at home, right?
Yeah,
With my current schedule, I work Saturday, Sunday, and and I do this podcast with you on Monday. Other than that, I have no set schedule. Like I have like back when I worked with the radio station, um, if like the guys I worked with, we talked every day, several times every day.
yeah,
And on long weekends and holidays, especially during COVID, when we couldn't hang out with anybody, I had my friend Lachlan who used to reach out. Hey, we've been texting in the chat. You haven't responded. Are you alive? Are you okay? Phoning me, like FaceTiming me, doing all this stuff, just checking on me to make sure that I'm here. But then I was thinking, like, if maybe one day I didn't show up to work because I, you know, choked on my beer and died right here on the podcast and you were too drunk to, or no, you weren't paying attention and you just thought I was faking it. Or something. And no one knew that I was gone. No one knows what apartment number I live in. You know my exact address. Like
yeah,
you have no idea who to get a hold of to my building manager to, hey, can you do a wellness check to make sure that Jimmy's okay, or even to call the cops to do a wellness check. My cousin mentioned that yesterday because you can call the police and go, hey, I haven't heard from and I can't get a hold of my cousin. Um, can you see if he's okay? Because they can do that. Like
yeah,
none of that. And like, that was one thing that hit me. And like it, and that hit me in the middle of the night and I had a hard time falling asleep because I was like, kind of freaked out by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
at
yeah.
least like you're at home, if something happened to you, Andrew would know, or and you
Or
have
hide the body.
or hide the body. But if you didn't show up to work, you like because you go to work every day, or you're in contact with people at work every day. I don't have that day because I'm just working part time right now. I don't have that day to day contact with people like every day consistently. And it kind of freaked me out. So actually, I was talking to my cousin about that yesterday, and sent her like my like the exact thing, the name of my like my apartment number, the name of my building manager, her phone number, to go, hey, can you just check to see if he's alive? Like, because it
Well,
freaked me out. Like I was like I woke up and it was um I had huge anxiety. Like it just hit me. It was the one time I was ever kind of freaked out by something that bad. It it bugged me, and it was stuck in my head all week.
let
And
me ask you
you're
this.
trying you're trying to say
Sorry.
something, yeah.
No, it like, okay, speaking of morbid, but like if you're dead, you won't know. Like that's very morbid. So
No, no,
in that like,
but that I understand.
yeah, but like
Okay,
this might be. I mean, I have a psych degree, but this is dime store psych here. So, um, but like the part that keeps you up is like, is it the fact that your body might not be found? First, yeah, like I have lots to say about that because I think that we stay in touch enough, and I usually check in on you. Not on you, check in with you from time to time, right?
okay, we just said at the beginning of the podcast, the last time we even
Yeah,
text with each other was on our last podcast, which was a
yeah.
week ago.
Yeah, not for nothing. I'm not trying to absolve myself for anything. Yeah, it was Tuesday. But anyways, you're
But it
right.
was a week, yeah.
It proves your point. Um, but more importantly, it's like, is if okay, lot to unpack here. I don't encourage any thought like that whatsoever because it's absolutely unproductive, and it's like, someday for all of us, the clock's gonna stop ticking, and that's gonna be it. And I think that you'd hate to do an accounting of everything you did here on earth, and then realize, like, holy cow, I can't believe I spent this many actual days in all of my years worrying about the things I couldn't control, right?
But but
Ish.
that that wasn't where I was like, I'm not worried about whether or not I die in my living room. I'm just worried. Like it's gonna happen eventually. Like it's like it's just the fact that nobody knew. Like it's just the fact that
And that's what I was
like
getting at, though. That's what I'm getting at, though. It's like, you're like, like, should more people care? Is that maybe the root of what was bothering you?
no, it's just the fact that all the people that care, uh, you know, didn't know. And, it's more to the effect of because, when it would come to light that, that I passed and, after maybe 2 weeks of not talking to anybody. And then my friends and family were like, well, if I reached out and tried to call him, maybe we could have, it maybe like it would be, it's not worried about me, whether or not I'm going to, kick the can. It's whether or not the people that I care about are going to blame themselves that maybe if I would have reached out and maybe found out, maybe there was a way that he could have been found sooner, or maybe saved or whatever. It's more to the effect of how it affects my family, not me. I don't like if I
That's
died, like, you know what I mean?
I know that. I know what you mean 100%, and I think that speaks to you as a person. That's pretty awesome that you're actually concerned, not necessarily for you, but for other people. And I think maybe that even speaks to what I said earlier about the authenticity bit and whatnot. It's never about Jimmy. Um, So good for you. But there's enough of us out there that love you that I don't think you need to worry about that too much in general.
but it would be a week plus, like in a week like this one, like usually I talk to my sister Heather. I talk to her every week, but the last couple weeks, um, we've kind of just like she's busy, like we all have
Sure.
lives in different
Yeah.
areas, and and the thing is we went like 2 weeks. Usually I talk to her every week. Like she's my sister.
Yeah.
She's also my closest friend. Like I'm very close with her. We're a year and a half apart. If something happens to her, it affects me. Um,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
And
I
when you
talk to
talk,
I talk to
nothing's
her
off the
more than I
table.
do what's that?
When you talk, nothing's off the table, right?
No. And and her and my cousins like that I was at yesterday, they give me shit for stupid things that I do. I can't believe you wrestle. You realize if you're in the wrestling ring and someone hits you in the back of the head, you could die, right? And like, yeah, I understand. Like I had a long conversation with my cousins yesterday. So they all ganged up. They all ganged up. But do you actually go in the ring? Yeah, I actually. But you realize you have a shot in the back of your head, and you realize it's behind my ear, and for someone to actually hit me there is, and with the way we practice things, it's yeah. But and I'm like, shut up. Yeah, like sometimes like it's hard to explain, but sometimes people worry too much.
Yeah.
If I worried every time, like if I was worried about the fact that I was going to get hit in the back of my head, I could get hit in the back of my head walking through the mall, having someone swing their purse around and hit me in the back of the head, hit the plastic part, and no more Jimmy. Like if I worried about that, I'd stay at home all the time. The only reason I stay at home all the time is I have nowhere to go. Um,
I didn't
like,
help on Friday. Fuck. It's like, man,
yeah,
I
like,
wish I wish you could have came. That was fun. Ah, damn it.
uh,
Uh,
you,
it, See,
dude,
now I
dude,
know, right?
okay,
Now I know.
dude, Monday to Friday, I usually don't work,
Yeah.
but dude, same thing is if I'm going somewhere and I think you might like it, when I went and did the show, like a couple of the things that I did, I should have shot you a note and said, "Hey, I'm going to this thing. The tickets are probably only a couple bucks if you want to come." Um,
Yeah.
you know, we don't always have to do shit together, but I actually like as you mentioned, you like hanging out with me. I actually do like hanging out with you because part of that is the fact that like I rag on you, you rag on me. I make fun of your hair. You make fun of the fact that I have too much hair. You very rarely make fun of me. You never make fun of me for being short, but you do make fun of my short jokes because you go, yeah, that's a yawner. Like, come on, you can do better. Um,
Yeah. You got so much material, and like, come
and
on,
and
be
and like,
better.
because the thing is we rag on each other, but we also are very supportive. We help each other. If you ask me for anything, I do it without thinking, and you've done the same for me. And
You know what's crazy is Andrea was talking about that yesterday. Um, I
a
don't know if it
graph,
was an yeah, yeah. I don't know if
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like an article that she read or um Andrea, if you can hear me, maybe come on over. But I don't know if it was an article she read or some such, but it had to do with uh like people being really frank with each other. It's like um it had something to do with statistics about the closeness of relationships um where you can be when you're honest with your friends, it's like it's almost to an observer, it's like holy shit, like that person is horrible. The way he talked to his buddy,
That's
like
that's
that's
that's why a lot of people thought Lachlan was a horrible person because he didn't pull back on anything. He used
Yeah.
to call me a he used to call me a fucking moron. Like
Well, no,
like
that's fair.
he was a little true, but like he was a little too like too much. Like he'd let anger kind or frustration kind of push it where it was
Oh
little
yeah, yeah. I
too
can't.
on it. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you're not that bad. You'd like you'll go, okay, dude, that was dumb. Um
I
like
don't usually get mad about anything. Luckily, you know,
but
like
but
it, it's nice to surround yourself with people like that because like I prefer a good dose of honesty over like living in a bubble and always feeling good about a false narrative about myself, and I like to surround myself with people that give me the slap upside the head time to time when I deserve it.
but but like one thing that he did, he called me on my own bullshit sometimes. Well, I really tried. Well, did you?
Hmm.
Did you
That's
try?
basically
Did you? Yeah, like
what I just said.
did you? Yeah, like did you really try like every way that you could? Did you try something like that? And I'm like, no, I guess I could have. Um, you know,
That's
it's
that's hard to
like
navigate, like if you're someone's
like
like kind of boss, right? Like if you're somebody's boss, or if there's like a I don't want to call it a power thing, but at least like it's kind of like, well, my income depends on what this guy ultimately thinks of me, and his
he
income depends
actually
on.
oddly enough with Lachlan it didn't, but it's just
Good, good.
he
That's really
was the
important.
head. But like whether or not I was employed or not really wasn't up to him. But you know, he was the head of the show,
Yeah,
and I respected the shit out of him. Like
yeah,
because I knew he in the hierarchy he was on the higher end, and but so I did all
yeah, and
this,
also
but
like
on a different note, as friends I'd snap back and I'm like, oh, you're fucking retarded.
yeah,
And go, and like, you know what I mean? And go and call him out and go, well, the way I did it is actually the better way to do it. And this is why. And then, and then as soon as I said, and this is why, and then he goes, oh, okay. Um, and
that's
and
awesome.
then it corrected itself.
Yeah,
Then we both calmed down, and there was no yelling. And meanwhile, Grant's sitting in the corner going, "I don't know what the hell's going on here," but two of these guys are screaming at each other, swearing at each other, and Grant knew when I started swearing back that shit's gonna get real. So normally didn't
yeah,
yell. I didn't yell back until he pushed a button until I went,
yeah. I know
uh,
because you rarely, like, I mean, I'm like a fountain of like f bombs, and like I don't really care. But yeah, you're pretty like you probably hear it when you and I hang out one night. You probably hear more expletives out of me that night than I've heard our whole relationship over 15 odd years.
because, but the thing is before I started in radio, I used to swear like a truck driver.
Oh, it's
Um,
like habit,
and
habit.
but
You never want one to slip out.
then in radio you can't like
Yeah,
even on location. I actually I had a coworker at my current job. Um, because I was talking to him and like we were really busy, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is nuts. And then he goes, dude, there's people like, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like I dropped an F bomb
yeah,
at work with old ladies sitting like 2 feet away from me, and I'm like, oops, because I'm starting to loosen up a little bit because on air you can't like
yeah.
some
Obviously.
words. So at least at the station that I worked at, By the way, we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast about talking about our week, taking half the podcast. Yeah, we're getting there. I've only hit one, and I've only hit one epiphany so far.
I know
Um,
I want to hear the other one, but we're doing all right here.
but yeah, like so in radio, at least at Cruise, you can't say you can't f bomb, you can't say the c word, you can't say actually almost all derivatives of the male part. So you can't say dick. Uh, you can't say penis. Um,
What about Johnson or Hammer or Unit?
that we got away with or blony pony. Like, so we actually did, an entire break on different, names
Wasted
for
his
your
stress.
tool. Yeah. For
Tool.
your
That's
tool.
another one.
Cause
That's like
yeah,
six we did
tool.
in like 30 seconds.
Uh, and because and you can't. No, we got away with shit. Like we got away with saying shit, but when I worked at the fair, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Um, and like there's a bunch of others, but the main ones is an F bomb. You can't say the C word, like, and of course all the slang for different races and all
Yeah,
that
of
kind of stuff.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And one thing I learned that you can't say in radio is I guess you can't say midget. Um, that was
The hard
actually,
way.
that was, that was put on our list. Um, yeah, it's like when you get a
My
CBSC complaint.
my how the worm is turned, eh? Like a short few years ago, a fella couldn't say midget, and now he goes to Starlight Room and the red carpet's rolled out for him. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Uh, 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 I think that has changed, but we're not going to get there. Um,
You're
oh
really
wait,
a
no,
pioneer.
hey, I do what I do. Okay, so that was my one thing. So is I
I'm
live
waiting
by
for the
myself.
number. I'm waiting for the other one. Unless you wanted to had anything more to say about that.
No, but one thing about that. So, and then when I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and
Yeah,
so we kind of made a pact that every couple days we kind of just, like, she lives by herself, but she works 5 days a week from home, but she does all her meetings online. So if she doesn't show up to a meeting, then people know that
yeah,
that something might be up. So I said to her yesterday, so I gave her like my exact address. Like she knows where I live. She drops me off in front of my building every day, but she doesn't know what apartment number I live in. Okay. So we made a pact, and the pact really is the fact that we would actually at least every couple days shoot a text to each other, go, "Hey, how's it going? Are you good?" And back and forth, uh, because it's kind of important. Like she lives by herself, but and so do I, and it's a good thing to kind of look after each other. Like she's my cousin. Where I like her. Let me explain a little bit about her because like I know we're going really deep on the week right now, but the thing is so my dad's sister was her mom.
right.
And the thing is dad and her mom were really close. Like there was like 10 years difference in age. She used to babysit my brother, or, help take care of him. They had a big family and we were really close. Like if I wanted, like we talked about earlier about friends and the honest truth, my aunt, there was nobody more honest than my aunt.
Yeah,
If she didn't like something that I did in the video or I did on the show, she would call me and she would call me on the phone and say, "You're a moron." Like that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
And it
And
never bothered you because you knew it came from love.
but it's just it also didn't stop me
Yeah,
because part of what we were doing is the shock factor of what we were doing,
sure.
and it was none of the stuff that we did was like against my like actually
Principles.
most of it was my idea,
Yeah,
and or they'd come up with an idea and I'd make it worse. Like it's just how we were as a show, but but there's no one more honest than family like that.
yeah,
And and the thing is so we'll shoot a text back and forth every couple days. Go, hey, is all good? Yep, all's good. That's it. Like it doesn't have to be a big long conversation. That was what our pact was.
yeah,
Is we kind of just keep in touch daily or every couple days, just to go. I'm still here.
yeah.
And and then
Well,
if I don't text her, then she'll text me. Like it's one of those things.
yeah. Well, I'll just say, like, um, you know, I think that that's anybody listening. It doesn't matter if you live with 20 people or whatever, but if it's like people that you love that are really close to you, if you envisioned yourself living alone and somebody's on that list, maybe make a point of calling them every couple of days anyway. And just on the basis of what you're telling me, Jimmy, I mean, you're one of my closest buddies, and truthfully, like I'll tell you from what you said, message received. Like, not that we ever fall. Like, I mean, this week was noteworthy because we usually talk every few days, this week aside anyway. But like
At least
I'm like,
something. Like yeah,
yeah, right. Like, and you know, uh, we're born alone, we die alone, but in the middle is when we make an impact or not or whatever, and or when
well
others make an
that is deep, dude.
and
That was
okay, but like and when I say we make an impact, it also includes people making an impact on you, and it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. So um you know
yeah. It
whether
it
you feel down or not, like, I mean, we said we talk about events that happened this week, but regardless, the point is that the only constant is change, and it's kind of like, well, why not check in time to time anyway? Like, it's not a wellness check, it's not a health check. It's that I love this person during my life, and just to say hi. So
but
that might be a good
but
resolution for anyone.
but I just remember back like when I worked with Lachlan, and like we worked every day together, and then if we were like on vacation or long weekends, hey, you haven't like we sent three texts, asking how drunk you got last night, and you haven't responded. Are you still alive? And then he'd FaceTime me at 7 o'clock in the morning, and 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 it's something that was totally different from where I'm at now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but it I
Wow.
can't, I
Yeah.
can't, I can't say that I was like it. It rocked me. Oh, it did. But it just gave me the realization that I need to keep in contact with somebody at least on like a bi-daily basis or something, and go, hey, like how's your day going?
Yeah.
Dude, did you see this on like whatever? Like
Yeah.
even if you and I text back and forth, hey, so and so died. Like actually, we'll get into that in a bit. But do you know about that? Like or something. Like it's
Yeah.
just there
I
was
think I
like
think that, like, kind of like, I have friends that
in low places.
Andrew is just walking upstairs. I said I have friends, and then she goes, "You have friends?" Anyways,
Friends.
that like they're the first person to go, "How come you never call me?" And I'm like, "Well, the last 3 times I reached out to you, you never got back to me, or you said you were busy, or like." And it's kind of like,
I
well, you know what? Like, I reached out to you, like, in the history of you and me, my friend that asked me how come I never called you. Um, the last 3 efforts that were made, not that it's competition, it's not like you love them or you hate them, but or you know what I mean. But the
I
last
know
three
exactly
times,
what you mean.
the last 3 efforts to contact you were made by me, and they were all either thwarted or met with coldness or not replied to or whatever the case may be. And then then they, that I don't know, like invariably they'll go, well, we never talk because you don't call me. Well, the record shows
Phone
not
goes
that.
both ways.
Yeah, right.
Phone goes
Yeah.
both ways.
And so what I'm
Like,
saying to you too, maybe is like, hey, like, I don't think there's one, and I'm not putting this on you or nothing, but I don't think there's a time in my life that I got correspondence from you that I was like pissed off or not happy about it.
no, no, no. But the thing is though, is it made me realize that, but it wasn't, I wasn't blaming anybody, like
I know
when
that,
I said that,
I
because I
know.
was like, I don't reach out to somebody every day. Like, because like this epiphany that we're talking about actually goes into the next one that I'm going to talk about, kind of,
Oh, holy
is
shit, we haven't
daily
even got to that.
routines.
Yeah. By the
The
way,
second
yes.
epiphany, and
Okay,
and
good.
we're
Yeah,
and we're an
before you,
hour in, and we're still talking about the week.
that's okay,
Um,
man. That's okay. Like, we'll
this
probably be
might just be
talking
the
more
week.
off air, but I'll tell you, it's it takes a strong man, uh, who, when um, there's not a lot going on, to not revert into circling the toilet bowl and not and say, well, what do I got to do today? Nothing. Okay, well then I guess I'll do nothing. And then guess what? That perpetuates itself, and you could start circling the toilet bowl and all that stuff. I'm not saying that's you, Jimmy. I know it's not. In fact, and also, like, what we were talking about before.
Oh,
When I was saying
you
about
you have no idea, dude. Uh,
yeah, the guy that doesn't stay in touch. I wasn't saying that was you, because if there's one thing I know about you, and if there's one thing I know, like your pop taught you and all that, is that you're not a victim. So, anyways, I'll give you the floor before you
okay,
like
so
start squirting beer out of your nose.
um, okay, because okay, so let's end that. So the thing is you and I have kind of a plan, kind of shoot shit back and forth on text or whatever, even email, whatever to,
It's not a plan. It's
and
just more like a consciousness.
a,
Like, I'm like,
a
hey, like,
consciousness to go, hey, like I haven't talked to Mooney this week.
it's
Um,
like when I'm thinking about him, I'll text him. That's it. No big deal. I think about you at least a couple times a day. So, and not in a creepy way. Well, now with the haircut, maybe a little
I
bit.
hope not. Uh,
with the
wow.
with the with the
Okay. Now,
blades and the knives
uh, now,
down to the
now I
wood.
want to start. Now I want to start wearing a wig. Um, and I
Now
have a
just
few.
give it a couple days.
Um, so my second epiphany,
uh,
or thought of the week was actually with the fact that if I have nothing, like if I have nothing planned for the day, like to go meet you or go somewhere or go do this or go do that, I have no daily routines as much anymore as I used to. Like when I used to work at the radio station, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd have a shower, breakfast, get dressed, and go. And I'd be out of the house by 5 o'clock.
yep.
And that was my routine daily. And now that like I work mostly on the weekends and I don't like if I don't have anything going on during the day, I sometimes don't even put clothes on. Like I just walk around in my underwear and socks um all day. Like I realized on Friday that I'm like, and this was actually the look on my face when I said it. I'm like, I haven't showered since Sunday. Like
Thank
and
God we
and,
didn't
and
hang
I'm,
out then.
but it's just if we were gonna hang out, I would have showered and got dressed and whatever. But I had no plans, so I'm like, why do it? So my epiphany was stick to the same routine, get up, get showered, yeah, like get dressed, and today was actually my first day of that epiphany breakdown. Um, because like when you
It's
messaged
like
me,
fist bump. Good for you, man. Yeah.
like when you messaged me, I like and you said, hey, like hey, we're gonna get together at at 4:15, and I'm like, can you do 4:30? Because I needed to have a shower, get dressed, and go get beer, and then
Dude, hang on
because I
though. Hang on. No, hang on. Wait a minute. I'm
but it's
gonna.
just but no, let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, because last week when I knew or at when we were supposed to do the podcast and then we ended up changing it, um, is I got up at a certain knowing that I needed beer, so I got up, got dressed, and went to go get beer, but I didn't shower first because. But it's just because the thing is I realized I wasn't showering every day because I didn't really have to. And it kind of made me go, dude, you have an issue. So I
Yeah.
kind of like every day is before I, do something that I like every day, like I have to get something accomplished every day and do the routine, shower, get fully dressed because like even last week, I didn't put socks on for like for 5 days because I didn't have to.
Yeah. See, and it's like what I just said, right? Like, it's very easy, without compulsion to circle the toilet bowl. And no offense, but um,
But it wasn't
and
a
you know what?
depression
By the
thing.
way,
It was
no, I
it.
know, I know. It's a routine thing, and it's like in the absence of routine, like we descend into this kind of like state of I don't know, stasis, where there's really like you know like but I learned that a long time ago because I've been working from home for at least 10 years, productively, luckily. But one of the things that I learned, just because unless you got a Zoom call at like 9 a.m., I don't have to have a shower first thing in the morning. I don't have to do this or that or whatever. But like it's important to have that routine. And I don't want to talk politics or whatever, but this is like almost metaphorical. But like Jordan Peterson talks about, like make your bed, make your bed every day. Like when you get up in the morning, make your bed. And the message there is like go as you mean to go. And so like if you had a routine, like your routine might not include going to work, but you said I'd have breakfast, I would get up, I would groom myself, I would like make your bed. And it's kind of like there's an order that you're imposing on your own life, to remind yourself that circumstances don't dictate how you live. I dictate how I live. And so, not for nothing, Jimmy, but you're not there yet because you fucking said, um, I texted you at, I don't know, it was like 3:30 or something, and I'm like, what about, like, when do you want to get after it? Like 4:15? And you're like, how about 4:30? You're like, well, I hadn't showered yet. Well, you should have showered when you got up in the morning. And I'm not telling you what to do. It's not my job to
No,
tell anybody what to do.
no.
But if you
Actually,
bear in mind what I was,
I called myself out for that too. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, like because I got up at like 8 and I had breakfast and stuff, and I just got busy doing nothing.
yeah,
Like
like,
it's actually really easy to get busy doing nothing
yeah,
than you think. Like sitting there playing a game on my phone, watching TV. Like like
It's
it's
it's it's
really.
fungal. It's fungal. It's horrible. Like it grows and it's yeah. And let me just tell you, like not like just so you know, I'm not preaching here. Like um like I tell myself I'm gonna work out, you know, like every day, and 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 it's like an argument that you literally have with yourself. And I'm ashamed to admit that bad Chris usually beats out good Chris on the working out every day thing. And I've got all the things I need downstairs, and I there's no reason on God's green earth that I shouldn't be working out, but I want to find out about what's going on with the Oilers or my fantasy team or what's going on in the news. I mean, the one thing about social media, like I use X every day, and it's like having like a newspaper that never ends. Like if you follow the right accounts, like Reuters,
I
Associated
I
Press,
I
like
do this. I do the same thing on Facebook with reels and funny videos. Um,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
but let me teach you an easy workout for someone like yourself that spends a lot of time on the phone. Okay, and you have a booze bottle. You go like this, and then switch arms.
yeah. Is that good for the? Well, that's it. That's a nice segue into a segment about something else.
Into something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got
See,
me some
see, that's the
Riot
thing,
Steers.
because you can do that, and like, and if you have two bottles, then you can go like this, and you can go like this, and there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was my week. So we are actually like a 1 hour into our podcast,
Yeah,
and
it's an
we went
hour.
through our week.
Fuck
Yeah,
around.
we like like
I don't know
we
about
don't
you,
plan
dear
we don't
listener,
we
but
don't
I
plan
enjoyed it.
we don't plan this shit. Okay, but before we go into anything else dealing with us directly, one thing that happened this week that you actually threw on the prep today, I think we need to talk about,
Yep.
which is very important, is the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like I'll let you run this one.
I'm not going to because like I want to hear what you have to say, and not just
No, no, I want
symbolically.
I actually no, I actually, to be honest. I learned about this yesterday when I was at my cousin's, and she goes, "Did you hear about?" And I'm like, "Who's
Oh
Charlie Kirk?"
wow, I didn't know.
And
Yeah.
and uh, and
Okay.
and
Okay.
and then she told me, and then we were watching the news and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Okay.
he was killed for his beliefs, for him expressing his beliefs. He was killed for that. It
Well,
was my
it's
reaction.
okay. So
It's a little bit
okay.
more than that.
Okay,
It's
but okay, you tell me what she told you, and
No, no,
like no,
she
because
explained it, but then I was watching the stuff, and I'm like, and the thing is, though, is I don't care who you are. If your beliefs are not the same as mine, who am I to kill you for it? If
yeah,
you are out there expressing your beliefs, what you think, it doesn't matter if you're the same religion as I am, same political. Like, who am I to and your life because you disagree with me? Like we've talked about this a couple of times on our podcast about, we have the right, of
disagree.
speech. We have the right to disagree, but you don't have the right to kill me because I disagree with you. And if you think you do have the right to disagree with me because I'm saying something that you don't agree with, there's something wrong with you. It's not me. Like,
Yeah.
when I looked into it and I started reading about it, because I had no idea what she was talking about, and then I started doing some research, and I'm like, back in the day, I was very religious. I Like
Yeah.
back in the day, I would have judged myself. Like with the fact that I strip and all this kind of stuff. But, but the thing is though, is who am I to like, we are allowed to disagree. Yeah. Like no one person is going to agree with every scenario that's I think. Like you and I have had conversations about free speech on social media and stuff like that when it comes to bullying and cyberbullying and the government being involved. But I'm not going to kill you for it because
No,
you
of course not.
disagree with me. But
No.
but who has the right to kill somebody else because they don't believe what you believe? It's
Well, obviously nobody
wrong.
has the right.
It's
And
but
you said earlier, if you don't mind me weighing in here, but you said earlier we're allowed to. No, it's not even being allowed to disagree or to express your opinion. In a free, functional, and democratic society, it's an inalienable right. Okay, so uh, what Charlie was known for, and bear in mind, okay, the man was 31 years old. Um,
and
he
his
assumed,
family is and his family he's
yeah, I know that's
like
just a,
uh,
it's a
like
it's a,
and and
it's a
and
tragedy when you think about his family and his wife and
and
and all of
and
that. But
and
like,
because people disagreed with him, so therefore shoot him in the face. Like
yeah, he started at 18, Turning Point USA, which was basically like a lobby group, but not even a lobby group, but more of a grassroots group that engaged young Americans in debate. I mean, obviously, Charlie had his opinions, and we're not here to talk about those necessarily or whether or not we agree with them, but fundamentally, um, he was a good man, and you don't start at 18 and by 31 have the respect of like pretty much everybody on either side of the aisle in the United States because you were fair and and honest and like I want to I want to say unapologetic, but I think maybe a better way to put it is that like respectful of both sides. You have the firmness of your beliefs, but also the like we were talking about earlier, the humility to to back down in the face of a better argument. And that was the message that he was taking to colleges like for I don't know how long now, like at least 3 or 4 years. I like his life in the public sphere. He started Turning Point USA when he was 18. He died at 31. That Turning Point USA is a $95 million company or organization, however you want to classify it. I don't know where they put the number on it, to be honest with you. But regardless, if you've ever watched any of his videos and disagree with his approach, you need to ask yourself, why do I disagree with his approach? And if you can't separate his approach from
what he's
what he's
saying.
what he's saying, then the problem lies with you. And and when I say that, I mean that he treated the people with whom he discussed issues with respect, for the most part. He took way more darts than he gave out. Like some people came up. One of his things at his Turning Point USA visits to college campuses was, I want the people that disagree with me to be ushered to the front of the line. Because I mean, over the last, I'd say, let's say 5 years, it's gained a lot more prominence. So you have a lot of angry people that don't agree with him that would go, "Oh, I want to talk to him about this." And I mean, there's countless videos online of him, and refuting or arguing against what someone has to say. But he's like, I want to hear what they have to say. And even if like you're one of the thousands of kids that on the different campuses that he was at, that like I think that it was even more for them, the people that didn't grab the mic, but modeling um, respectful engagement, and oftentimes showing how people that didn't possess that, you know, um, what how I introduced this part where I said like it's not what he had to say, it's like how you treat the person that says it. And he modeled that to a T. And I think that for a lot of people who who maybe fundamentally feel like they can't defend their arguments or whatever the case. I don't really want to talk about motivation, but it's like that is basically the premise upon which Western society is founded. So I think that I think that this it's historic what happened to him, particularly now with social media and knowing what kind of man he was and what kind of person he was. I mean, there's countless stories of people that were like, I was a nobody that we know who they are now. And Charlie Kirk asked me if I needed anything, um, in a nonpartisan way, or like, and I think that's maybe the biggest threat to people that don't want to hear other ideas, that don't want to discuss things, that don't want to. It's like, well, you know, the more we cut down the people that ask us to explain why we hate them, the better it will be for us. But unfortunately, I think that maybe the end product is the opposite, where we say, listen, I'm hopeful that his passing, um, maybe engenders like hundreds, maybe thousands more like him to say, wait a minute, I love you, I respect you, I have no feelings of ill will towards me, but please tell me what you believe. And that's pretty much all I hope for as a byproduct of this. And I pray for his family, and I pray for all the people impacted by him, even me, and Andrea, and like my kids were calling me going, did you hear about that? Because they knew who he was, like
I, to be honest, I didn't until my cousin pointed it out to me yesterday.
yeah.
And then I looked it up, and then I was kind of really enthralled in learning who he was, because I don't try and like I don't follow a lot of the current events and news and stuff because it's
Yeah.
so freaking depressing, and it's just like it's always negative that's posted, like that's on the news sites and all this kind of stuff. So I don't follow it all the time. But then when she told me, and then I started looking up a little bit about him, I'm like, he was killed because he said what he believed. He believed what, and he showed himself. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. Like here's the thing, right? Is we want to say that, but I mean, even today, the FBI is going, well, the killer is, or the suspected killer, okay, is been non-cooperative. But I mean, and
he
so
had the gun in
like
his
like
hand,
like
and
it's
yeah,
like the classic statement, like who knows what's in the hearts of man, right? So like who knows what inspired him, but honestly, it like from what I've read so far, and I obviously spent too much time on X than I should. Like the hour and a half I should have worked out today, I was reading X, so I know more about this. Like the only byproduct that's positive, um, is that we don't necessarily really know what's in the hearts of a young man like that. But I will tell you this: that at 22, um, who looked like he came from a loving family that raised him properly, and then falls in with whatever crowd he falls in with. And I'm not even judging anybody, but to go from that family to, like literally, you know, um, an assassin of a political figure in 4 short years, that's like, I don't want to make any presumptions about motivation, but holy cow. Like
but
I have no words.
there's a different way of looking at that though, because the thing is though is you can't always blame their people's upbringing on their actions after the fact. You can't always
No,
blame that.
I have a fountain of pity for his parents because he came from a good family. I mean, like, I've seen social media posts from his mom celebrating his 18th birthday and how much they love him. and he was like a 4.0 GPA type kid, that went to college. I mean, there's nothing from the time that he was brought up in his household to the time that he arrived on campus that indicated anything but a kid who's got a bright future, is all I'm saying. And I welcome anybody who refutes that, but I've seen enough evidence myself.
Yeah, the thing is though is so many times. Well, it's looking at his upbringing, you don't know where he went wrong, but 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 you can't always predict that shit. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'm just saying, like, you can't blame his parents. I mean, for God's sakes, the old man turned him in. So, like,
yeah,
like
it's
you know what? Like, maybe besides like Charlie's poor family and obviously Charlie himself, but like maybe the biggest victims beyond them and like you and me are inconsequential. But like maybe beyond Charlie's immediate family, his parents, all the people that knew and loved him personally. Um, Maybe the kids' parents are victims too, where it's like for the rest of their lives they're going to go, where did we go wrong? How did we raise a son that was susceptible to whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I do. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. I don't want to make presumptions, but quite frankly, I have pity for his poor father that had to turn him in. I have a 19-year-old son, and I couldn't imagine. Um,
okay.
like,
But on a different note, your son is a rock star. Like
well, thank you. But it's not.
like
It's he's old enough now that it's not my credit.
no, but the
Almost
thing
arrogant
is
to
though
go.
is
Thank you.
is okay. So we're circling back to the Deke event that I was at in the dunk tank, and he's like, "Hey, do you need anything?" He was acting like borderline mother. Like it was like, "Hey, do you need anything? Like, do you need a towel?" He gave me a towel, and then like because my towel became the community towel, and then the towel I was using that I got from him became the community towel. But it
Yeah,
just but he was like, "Hey, do you need food? Do you need drink? Do you need like what can I do for you?" And
yeah. You know what,
like
Jimmy?
like like your kid is a lot like you, or more like you than I think but and
Well,
he's a
I
great kid.
that's a compliment to me. Insofar as like he's a great person, so it's nice that you think that. But um, this maybe this comes back to like we can wrap up after this on this subject, but um, like like couple casts ago, where I was talking to you about how like there aren't a lot of avenues for young men, to learn how to be men and be positive influences on their family and their friends and then, like to make perhaps their future wives, or like be confident and sure of the course that they've chosen. And and our outfit is one of the rare institutions on campus now that's even available for young men like that. And particularly in the face of like the internet and what some people call the dark web, or whatever, wherever these people go, I wouldn't even know that. And that where an 18-year-old kid, like if that kid joined our fraternity instead of gamed and whatever these guys do now, I'd like to think that maybe we have a positive impact insofar as like, hey, you know what, you're not alone, we're one of those guys. And that's like a microcosm of what Charlie Kirk did with Turning Point USA. But there are avenues out there for young fellas that feel maybe a little bit bereft and put upon by society. Um, but we don't need to focus on that too much. But yeah, there's lots of places wherein a young fella can still find camaraderie, friendship, and meaning.
That's so true. It's like yeah, like you have to like actually that's been kind of the theme of this podcast is camaraderie and family and being. because we started out earlier, especially when I was talking about, my revelation that I live by
No,
myself,
it's,
and
you
it
you call them epiphanies, so we can say meaning,
epiphanies,
meaning.
epiphanies, meet whatever. But the thing is, though, is we are in this together, and it's good to have a community of people that are behind you, such as the Deke House, such as the Bald and Short of It podcast. We're kind of a community,
Sure.
we
Yep.
and like family, whichever way you want to look at it. And the thing is, so if we aren't looking out for each other, who else is going to look out for us? Like is kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like your close friends, family, stuff like that. We look out for each other. If you don't, you should start. It's because if you look after somebody else, they're going to look after you. It's like it, and you don't do it. It's not a, I care about you because I want you to care about me. I do it, and then it's just kind of a
Yeah.
reciprocation that owes.
You're
It's
not
a
doing it selfishly. You're doing it because you legit
Yeah,
care, and
and then
you're espousing the affection that whether it's reciprocated or not that you have, and nine times out of ten it's reciprocal, right?
it comes back.
Yeah.
Like what you throw out there comes back. It's like
Yeah.
a boomerang. Um,
100%. So
so I'm
like I'm saying, uh, you know, on that note, when you encounter people that you don't necessarily disagree with or agree with, you know, uh, like 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 anything in life, we approach them with curiosity and go, okay, why? Like not as an adversary, but as like a person who understands that perfection is unobtainable, and knows that their ideas are not inviolable, and says, hey, tell me why. Tell me why you think I'm wrong. Like with love, with respect, like Charlie did, and maybe this is a bellwether that we can all appreciate, moving on into the future.
but also the thing is everyone has their right to an opinion. If
Yeah,
you
and
disagree,
respect that, right?
if you disagree with the opinion and you don't want to have the argument, eh, that's all on you.
Yeah,
But the thing is you know we we have the right to believe what we want to believe. It's like that actually goes all the way back to the Bible. To be honest, it actually does. Because it actually says in there, it talks a lot in the Bible on free will. We all have the right to choose God or not. Like we have the right to think left wing, right wing. We all have the right to like, but if you try to force your views upon me, that's when we might have issues.
yeah.
But
I
if you,
think that.
but if it's a conversation and a debate or whatever, and like this is my idea, that's my idea, and we're both allowed to speak, that's something totally different.
Yeah, I think that like democracy, especially, and you could argue even Christianity, like it never had room for absolutism. Um, I know a little bit about theology. I majored in it for a year, and like there's a gospel that's not part of the Gnostic Gospels, like the Gospel of Saint Thomas, which was a little. I won't. Don't worry, it's not a theology session, but it was dated. It's all whatever, but it, gosh, we should almost have an episode about this. But um,
Yep.
he was a witness, and he framed Christ's words in the with the free will angle, meaning like empowering the individual and the curious individual, the individual that pursues truth, the individual that understands that with humility, that there's no such thing as perfection, um, ends up better off because they learn more, because they never think that their thoughts, their beliefs, their actions are absolutely correct. And again, to reiterate, if you follow what Charlie had to say when he went to campuses, and yes, he quoted scripture, but at the end of the day, scripture doesn't resonate um, unless it applies to like daily life. And if you integrate that, you know, uh, it doesn't take much for a reasonable person to go, yeah, I want to test my beliefs. I want to test my ideas with respect in the pursuit of truth.
No, no, I agree with you. Like I don't know if you know this about me, Chris, but back in the day when I used to live in Tabor, I like I later in my teens, early 20, no, it was late teens, early 20s ish. I was heavy in the church. Like I was
Yeah, I know
I
you were.
actually
I know you grew up
like
in the
like
church.
like I
I know that when you moved here, you went to a church 2 blocks away from where I'm sitting.
but what I'm saying is back in the day when I was there, I I was actually the like I used to help out the youth pastor at the church.
Yeah,
So some days like he was late or whatever, or hey, he'd ask me, hey, do you have an idea of a talk to like a sermon or whatever for the kids? I used to write those, and I
yeah,
used to
I don't
quote
doubt it.
scripture, and um back in the day, I was inspired. I don't even know what I was inspired by, and I wrote a it was a 4-page paper. It was called Martial Arts the Christian Way. And I kind of, because I was heavy on the martial arts, I was going to Kempo. I've done Taekwondo. I've
Yeah,
done
yeah, I
many
know.
different styles. And I broke it down in four, and I used scripture, and I talked about how, even though the martial arts itself is, you know, kind of religious based, depends on the art that you're doing, because Japanese is Buddhist. Then you have like the Chinese, which is, I want to say Hindu, but I don't know. Um,
Chinese is not
I
Hindu.
don't. What? No, 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 no. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like because I have the research in the paper that I did, but it inspired me. Like sometimes you get inspired and you do stuff, and
Like
I
they're
copied this.
hang on a minute.
But
Like what you're saying is that there's like something you love and the church, and it's like there's parallels,
there's
right?
parallels. You can
And
use it.
you were excited about the fact that the things that they maybe were, like you said, Christian, that were like espoused by Christ or like Saint Paul or the people that wrote about him, like that there were parallels to like
like
martial
like
arts. And
like
believe me, I know
like
there
me-
are.
like like meditation. Like a lot of them, they focus on their chi, their self energy, but you can meditate the same way in prayer, where you block everything out, where your entire focus is in prayer. And like that's the kind. And I was
And like
so
I, by the
inspired.
way, sorry, like I fucking hate that word meditation. It's like, why don't we empower people and call it introspection? Not for nothing, but go on.
No, 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 I agree with you that there's a number of different ways to look at it.
Yeah.
But but I s- but I it cost me at the time, this was back 94. It cost me $250 to print this paper and have it copied at Staples. And but I bought the fancy, the fancy clipper things,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got the
like
laminate cover and all
that
that.
laminate on top. and stuff like that. And I put it in everybody's mailbox at my church. And I had some of the older people go, eh. I had some of the younger people go, wow, that's cool. And then I like it was,
right?
but but I did it. I was inspired to do it. Do I regret it? Hell no. It
I'm like, I mean, it speaks to you, dude. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's kind of Charlie Kirkish. Not for nothing.
like I and I had some of the kids from the youth group go, what are you talking about? Like doing like katas and stuff like that and focus and then, you know, it became a thing that I used to do with the youth group like once a week.
And how old
But
were
it
you when you
was
threw that out there?
mid twenties, early 20s.
Yeah. And like, yeah, like, dude, um,
But it hit me and like even like we were talking earlier in the podcast about the revelations that I've had this week. They just hit me. And I'm like, and then I get inspired to like do something. It's like sometimes how we get it impassioned is important. It's
yeah,
it's it's who we are. And
you don't have to have a
you know,
job for that to happen. Like, you
what's
know, like your pursuit, like you know, your faith pursuit with the church, and then finding parallels with your martial arts work or whatever. Like, that's not a coincidence. When the kids were little, you know, one of them expressed an interest in like taekwondo, and like
I've done that too.
they were so small that Kieran, they didn't have a gi that Kieran was smaller than his sister, even though they're twins, and they couldn't find a gi that was like small enough for him. So he had this, you know, but
Dude,
I, you know, like
dude,
as
dude, dude,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Uh,
like heard and
like,
answered.
like you explaining that to me, because my mom had to modify my gi in every
uh
martial arts I ever did. It had like the sleeves had to be shortened. Um,
But
sometimes
you remember like earlier, like at other episodes here, like other episodes that we've done, like um where I talk about how I want, like, he was a wonderful soccer player, like better than I was, and I did okay. And but he wanted to play baseball. I'm like, you want to play baseball? Go play baseball. You know, like I almost wish that they would have done the taekwondo a little bit later, because you know, as parents, we could sit in the first, you know, course or two or whatever, and I'm just like the degree to which they were taught humility and respect, you know, like was to me,
and routine and
yes,
like there
all the
was
things
so
that
much to it.
basically like most of the things we've talked about in the last buck and a half here. And and I kind of wish they wanted to keep doing it, but they're like, no, we don't want to do it. And that's not to say that we let our kids run their show. But by the same token, you can't force them to do something, you know. If
But
anything, I
it's
wish, yeah,
but it's funny how you say that because you got them enrolled in Taekwondo and you were going to start with them. You were going to do it with them. And when I started Taekwondo with, it was me, my dad, and my brother.
nice,
And, and for the first few classes, it was all three of us. But then
yeah.
dad had to work late all the time. He had to work. So it was me and my brother.
uh
And then my brother lost interest and then it was just me.
Yeah.
And, like it was, but it was kind of the same scenario. It was something that the three of us boys were going to do.
Did that
And
firm your
then, but
resolve or weaken your resolve when those guys fucked off?
oh, it's like, but later on, I ended up leaving Taekwondo for a different reason. But but I got bored of it.
Were you touched or did somebody hurt you? You can talk about
No,
it.
because the thing is though is one thing
Sorry.
like again it's a midget thing because one thing is I was sparring with someone and I did a move. I did a move that I wasn't taught, and they're like, "Yeah, but you can't do that. That's not Taekwondo."
Punching
And
a guy in the
and
nuts.
then no, I actually kicked the guy in the forehead, but
Nice.
but how I did it was he stepped in, I turned around, back fist him in the sternum. He crouched down. I grabbed his head and I basically brought my foot right up to here, kicked him right in the forehead. And
So
they're like,
that one, yeah, that makes sense because you kind of already caught him.
and they're like, yeah, but that's not really a thing. And I'm like, but I
Did you
won.
choose a different discipline or did you get kicked out?
I I I got kicked out be- uh, because the reason is before
This
I
is
did
why you don't
Taekwondo.
fuck up with butch folks.
This is but when I was younger and I was dealing with being bullied,
Yeah,
my uncle, so my mom's brother,
yeah,
he was a kickboxer, and then when I was being bullied and I was explaining to him on all the different ways that people would like attack me or like take advantage, he taught me ways of defending myself by using the skills he knew I had.
yeah,
One of which was I was very flexible. I could bring my heel to my ear.
yeah.
Like
And like low
I
low
like
center of gravity too, which is
and
helpful.
and 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 I was really good at cartwheels.
Yeah,
And one thing I was known for in junior high and high school is uh,
cartwheeling and hanging out with the fellas. Listen to
uh,
Sound of
cart,
Music.
uh, doing cartwheels and getting somebody in the nuts, or punching someone and then bringing their face down here and then doing a cartwheel out, catching them in chin because I could bring my feet right up to where my head was.
Yeah,
So if I bring their, so like he taught me all this shit. And, and then when I started using it in Taekwondo, they frowned upon that because it's not their style.
yeah.
And then I got into Kempo, which is basically borderline street fighting and everything
Hang on, let
every
me ask you
no
this. Kempo. Hang on.
don't let me finish let me
Kempo is what?
finish.
Korean, Chinese, Japanese, just say. Kempo.
It's a Chinese. It, the Kempo I did was Chinese,
Okay. Just curious. That's all.
but it was a mix. It was a mix of different styles because they used to do like a bunch of different things. Same as Jeet Kune Do, which was Bruce Lee's fighting
Yep.
style,
Yep.
which was a mix of Wing Chun and anything else he learned. And one thing I learned in Kempo was the fact that modify shit. Like I'm not going to be able to do something the same way you can. So
Yep.
when I did the same technique to a guy when I was sparring, and he came in and I ducked and I stepped in elbowed him in the stomach, brought his head down, and did the same kind of kick to his face. My my sensei at the time went, "Dude, that was awesome!"
Yeah.
Like
And that was the
because
Kempo.
that was Kempo.
Yeah.
Because even the techniques that they were teaching me at the time, I can't do it the same way you can. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like
No, it's like it's
when you grab my hair, I'm not gonna be able to punch you in the throat unless I
no,
punch you
you
somebody
need
else
yeah.
somewhere else first.
You need like a brand that's like size neutral.
Like and the thing is with them, they're like they used to teach me how to modify the techniques to work for me.
Yeah, the size that you're at.
because
Yeah.
the difference between something like Taekwondo, which was traditional, which you have to keep the techniques very similar
Yeah.
because it's not like that's just how it is, to something that's dynamic, like something like Kempo, where modify the hell out of it. Like,
Yeah. Not for
make
nothing,
it work
Jimmy,
for you.
but we're veering into
Like 3
we're
hours.
we're we're veering into like Asian like forums of like, like combat.
Okay,
Do you
sorry.
wanna do you
Like,
wanna do you wanna like do you have like a no, you don't you like you've made your point. Like we love you. It's all good.
but sorry, like, I don't even know where I started with this.
That's
And
good. This is us
I'm
talking.
not even,
Doesn't
I'm not
matter.
even drunk. I'm not even drunk. It's just, it kind of, see, this podcast is an exact, like, replica of our hanging out on the boat. Um,
Or the
or
bath
just sitting there,
or the bar.
or wherever. Okay. So where do
Not
we
for
want to go
nothing,
from
but
here?
not for nothing, but I got plans. I was talking to Boobs, uh, even if he's not locked in, but he's got the week off, and we'll
Who?
probably hang out on. Oh, Ruben, Boobs.
Oh, you said
Yeah,
boobs.
yeah. Sorry, Ruben. Uh, hey, Ruben. We're not using first or last names, so you're safe. Um, yeah, like on Thursday, but um, I'll talk to you about I'll talk to you about a bunch of stuff after the stream, but I don't know, like what do we have left? Because we were talking about all the stuff we talked about in our prep. We haven't talked about.
I know it's kind of funny. Uh, you know, you know what? There's just one thing. 'Cause Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This has actually become a really a Jimmy based podcast. Like, last one was Mooney, but who cares? Um, Andor,
Who
the
cares?
Star Wars
Who cares?
series. I do. Um, they actually won like an Emmy. They're the first Star Wars project to win an Emmy ever. So that's actually a big deal. I sometimes get worried about talking about Star Wars because of the last podcast when I asked uh, Chris about his opinion on Star Wars, and then we talked for 10 minutes about nothing that had anything to do with Star Wars. And that was actually the first time on this podcast that I ever said, "What the fuck does that have to do with Star Wars?" Um, but
Oh, you still talking about Star Wars or
not anymore. I just talked about I just talked about the fact that they did it, and
no? Hang on a minute. Like this is the first time that a Star Wars TV series was
has ever
acknowledged
won an Emmy.
by the by the intelligentsia or whoever controls Hollywood media. They got
But
points for writing, right?
yes,
And that
yes,
means something
and
to
that
you.
was but that was the Star Wars series. Like, because the thing is like the TVs, like the movies and stuff
Andor.
like that have won no, but the movies and stuff like that have won Academy Awards
Yeah,
for music, for special
yeah,
effects, for all that kind of stuff. But this time was the first time for um the writing, because
yeah.
the
And
Andor
we
series was very complex, and like, I've watched it 3 times,
yeah.
and I'm still kind of confused. But
Me too. Why I stopped watching. But we've tread that path like in our discussions about like the actual value, like when we talked about the Mandalorian, like on this podcast, and like the value of kind of like starting from scratch ish with the TV series, like the different ones. They got Mandalorian, they got Andor. There was another one, I'm sure. probably like three others that you know about that I don't. But idea
Uh,
being is that
Acolyte. There
yeah,
was a
whatever.
bunch of them.
Point being,
Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. Yeah,
yeah, point being is that like uh that it's at the end of the day it's all art, and despite the fact that I have no time for any of those shitty award shows, I mean, I
I didn't watch it
don't even
either.
want
I
to go
just
into it.
looked it up.
I don't even like if you and I are at the bar right now, we talk about the Emmys, and I tell you that Adolescence was based on a like a brown Muslim dude that killed somebody, but the show made it a white kid and his dad. But you know, whatever. I'm not. We won't get into that. Look it up if you're curious.
Uh,
Well, I don't give a lot of credibility to Emmys, and I'm sorry to take away your fire for Andor.
no, but I'm just saying they won an award and like in something that Star Wars has never won an award in. That's where I
No,
was going at. Whether or not it's I to be honest, like watching the Emmys when I was a kid, it was all about uh it was all about what's that one? Like all the soap operas my mom used to watch. All My Children, uh,
General
uh,
Hospital, Bold and the
General. Those
Beautiful,
are the two
Another
big ones.
World. Yeah,
My mom's two big ones were General Hospital and All My Children. What were your mom's?
my mom didn't. Well, actually, when I was a little kid, like before I went to school, she watched Another World. That was a thing. It was a soap opera
No,
called
yeah,
Another World.
no.
And actually, by the way,
I know there is. 'Cause they
not
had
for
this.
nothing, not
It's
for
like the
nothing.
intro was the times through the hourglass.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
another world.
Days of Our
Yeah,
Lives.
okay.
No, no,
Oh
that
no,
was
that was
Days of
Days
Our
of Our
Lives.
Lives.
Not for nothing. Another World. Ray Liotta was in Another World, and Ray
Was
Liotta
he?
was in Goodfellas. That's the
And a
Bamboo
bunch of other
Lounge. That's
and a
the
bunch and he was in Oceans like the Oceans movies.
no. Ray Liotta
He
wasn't in those. No, no.
he wasn't he in
He was in
Oceans One?
Goodfellas. He was in Goodfellas. That's it. As
Okay.
far as mob movies go, like oh no,
No, but
he
Oceans,
played
Oceans.
no, Ray Liotta was not in that. He played Frank Sinatra in a Frank Sinatra biopic ish. Um, I'm not sure it was HBO, might have been Showtime, and he did a great job. Ray Liotta, God bless his soul, was a great man. And I
Oh,
don't
he
mean
was in
that
Field
because
of Dreams.
yeah, oh yeah, he was Joe Jackson. In fact, I read an article about the set on that movie, and like him and Kevin Costner would play catch, and he would ask him, "Well, what do you want from me for this scene tone?" Because they were in like Idaho or wherever they had that cornfield, and you know there wasn't a lot for like all the people on the set to do, and they'd hang out and they'd throw catch, and it actually like hate to admit this, but that's maybe one of the few movies that made me cry. You know, like you know, you want to go for a catch, Dad, kind of thing. But
Oh, yeah.
but Leota was Shoeless Joe in that one, and yeah, no, the whole feel, everybody that worked on that set was like, yeah, we were isolated, and there's a ballpark in the middle of the cornfield. So, you know, during downtimes, we played catch. And I'm a father, and there's not a lot of drama when you play catch. Um, and that's a good thing because you could talk to your kid, you know, like how's school going? What's going on with this girl? How you doing? You know, those kinds of things. And I think that maybe that reverberated into like you know, like the thought process for people that are watching that thing. And this guy, like, basically, like, I read the book by Ray Kinsella, who, by the way, is Canadian, and it's really like just a pursuit of honest dialogue, which ironically mirrors the whole Charlie Kirk thing. But I mean, when you have kids, that's all you want, especially when they start becoming adults and they get away from you maybe a little bit, and you want them to. Your job happened before that. Teach them good values. Make sure they're good kids. Make sure that they encounter the world with curiosity as opposed to vigilantism or whatever it is, or like
Yeah.
certainty that I'm right. Um, and yeah, the wow, this might be the perfect conclusion of our podcast. But
This
feel
this
feel feel the dreams resonated because a son and a father talked, and like those are the honest conversations that we all need to have. And if you're a parent, like never push them, wait for them, welcome them, accept them. And if you're
yeah.
yeah,
But we'll end here. But your words here kind of resonated with me because I have like some there sometimes sober thoughts, but there's sometimes drunk thoughts where I'm thinking, you know, what would a conversation with my dad be now? Like what? Like if I was to say like this is going on right now, what would he say? And it goes with that with the field of dreams where you're talking where the son's talking to the dad. Um, like what? And I had this conversation with my aunt yesterday, or no, my cousin yesterday,
yeah,
and they're like, you know, shit happens. Like like with me, like struggling finding work and struggling like with this and that and the other thing. It would be like they said, like, dude, you've done everything. Like, as long as you do everything you can do, you're good. Like,
yeah. I'll
and
tell you this. I think that your dad would want you to make your bed.
I never make my bed. Uh, and when I was
Like
like,
metaphorically, philosophically, however you want to,
no, no,
you
but
understand what I
that's
was.
because, but, but when I was a kid, like I could clean, I would clean my room like clean your room. Your bed's not made properly. And like my dad was a hammer on that. Like there had to be no
Well, I hope you,
wrinkles,
you
no
I hope you
nothing.
appreciate the
But
point.
no, I know where you're going from. Like you have to have a starting point. You have to have okay, at least have something consistent every day. Like if it's not making your bed, it's uh, you know, cleaning your toilet or like or
No,
doing like
nobody knows that you made your bed. Only you know you did that.
yeah,
And it's like knowing
yes,
that like I can start at the fucking very fundamentals, the very basics to take care of myself, to be at least this like tiny bit of pride in self is all I'm saying.
yeah. No, I totally agree. And that's when I was talking about my like, daily routines, making sure that, you shower every day, get dressed, put freaking socks on.
Not
Like I,
every
I didn't
day.
put,
Shower after I get up.
yeah, yeah.
You didn't seem
Have a
as committed.
routine. Have a daily routine and stick to it every freaking day.
Yeah,
Even if part of that routine is walking around the block. If you
sure.
have a like for health purposes or whatever, have
Yeah,
a daily routine and stick to it every day.
yeah.
And let's end the podcast with that. Find a routine, stick to it every day. And
Let's appeal to our better gods. Or our better selves. I'm sorry. Let's appeal to our better
yes,
selves. Like never let
yes.
never let bad you win over good you.
and stick to something and
and
make sure you stick to it,
love your friends as much as I love Jimmy.
dude. Like if I love you too, man. Because the thing is we brag on each other, but if anyone was to mess with you in front of me, they'd
Yeah, we
have to
know, we
deal.
know.
Yeah, and the same thing. And like when I can't remember where we were and people were crowding up, and you went no no no,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. Whatever.
well, like we look after each other. Like we ride on each other a little bit, but we're family. And
We are so.
with that, with that, see you next time. The Bald and Short of It podcast family. I am Jimmy. That's Chris Mooney. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast. We'll see you next time.